The recipe in today's video is something that I learned from my mom. It is a cucumber stew. I make it mostly in summer, but also sometimes during winter, and it's a very light and delicious stew that you can serve with some potatoes or with some rice. So as for my ingredients, I have some grass-fed organic ground beef because it tastes so much better. I season that with salt, pepper, some steak seasoning and minced garlic. I'll also add some onions. Then I need 2 English cucumbers. You can also do it with other cucumbers, works too, I did that. I have 2 to 3 tomatoes, some olive oil for the pot. Then I will add later some Italian herbs, some paprika, some cayenne pepper, just to spice it a little bit up. I have about 3 tablespoons of tomato paste and, of course, no surprise, some parsley. Okay, so I will start with the ground beef, and I have already brought that to room temperature, which makes it better for the frying process. But first I have to season it a little bit. Okay, I add some salt. And some of the minced garlic. And a little bit of the steak seasoning. It's not necessary, but I think it tastes really good if you add some. Some pepper, of course. And I mix this a little bit, and then I set this aside. Okay, now I will prepare the cucumbers, and I peel them and cut them into smaller pieces. So next I will prepare the tomatoes. I will prepare the parsley. I've already washed it. It looked much fresher yesterday when I bought it. Even though I had it in a glass of water, it wilted a little bit, but it's still fresh enough to use. So now I'm ready to cook all these ingredients, and I got lucky. Aldi had this portable stove in a European style, so this is how the stoves look in Germany usually, unless you have one like me, which most people now have. I had another one in between that I ordered at Amazon, and it made a terrible loud noise, so this one is so much better. And let me heat this quickly and add some oil. Okay, and once the oil is hot, I am adding the ground beef. So, and now that there's not much of the redness in the beef to see, I'm adding the onions and let them fry a little bit too. Yeah, and now I am adding the tomato paste, which I think adds a lot more taste to this meal. I really like tomato paste. I don't know how you feel about it, but I really enjoy the taste of it. I sometimes even use it as a bread spread. And next I'm adding the vegetables. So here comes the tomatoes. And the cucumbers. All right. So now with the vegetables in the pot, let's see. Give it a quick stir. All right. And I let this boil now for a little bit, so that the liquid comes out of the cucumbers and out of the tomatoes. And usually that's enough liquid for my stew to boil, but sometimes for some reason the cucumbers are not as juicy as they're supposed to be, and then sometimes I add a little bit of water or some broth. Okay, let's take a look at this. Yes, you can see there's plenty of fluid in this pot now from the vegetables, and this just looks perfect. And look at these colors, the green and the red of the tomatoes. It looks very beautiful. I really like this meal, not just because it tastes so good, it looks also so great. Okay, I let this boil in a little bit, but first I want to add a little bit of my spices. So I will start with adding some Italian herbs. And of course you can spice it the way you like it. This is how I like it. I add a little bit of paprika. And a tiny little bit of cayenne pepper. And some pepper. And I'll decide on the salt at the end, but I will first stir this a little bit and then try it. And if I feel there's a total lack of salt, I will already add some, otherwise I will wait until later. Okay, let's see. Yeah, there needs to be some salt in here already. But as I said, the fine-tuning will be at the very end. Okay. Give it a quick stir. And then I will close the lid and let it boil. And today we will eat this meal with some potatoes. So I've prepared some potatoes and bring them to a boil now. And they should be ready about at the same time. So when the potatoes are cooked through, this has cooked enough too. And then I will fine tune with the last couple of spices that I want to add, depending on how it tastes. And then I will add the parsley. And yeah, that's basically it. And we will be ready to have lunch. Okay, it looks quite nice. Let me taste a little bit. Delicious, but it needs a little more salt still. since there are some tomatoes in it, some fresh tomatoes, that sometimes adds a little bit too much acid to the stew. And if you feel like it's a little bit too acid, then I would recommend you use some sour cream and add, like, I don't know, 4 tablespoons of sour cream to this stew, just to make it a little more mild. Okay, but adding some sour cream usually also means you need to add a little more of the salt. Okay, let's give it another taste. Yeah, that's perfect now. I don't even need to add more paprika or more of the pepper. So since I'm not adding any sour cream here today, I will now just add the parsley. And don't be shy on that part, because the parsley is a big part of the end result taste. And it just gives this the right kick. And now look at these colors. Isn't this beautiful? I absolutely love it. Okay. All right. And that's basically it. It's a very easy, basically very quick meal. And it's perfect in summer. It's not so heavy. It's quite light. It's also nice in winter because it's, you know, it's a hot stew, keeps you warm. So it's basically for every season. But since the cucumber season is in summer, I especially make it during summer. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you try this recipe, and if you did, leave me a comment, or if you have other questions or comments, yeah, just feel free to have a communication with me. And if you like this video, please click the thumbs up and recommend me to other people. I'm always happy to have more people join this channel.